This lesson is on integer rules. The saying that I use to help students remember is line up, add up, and move it, lose it. Line up, add up, move it, lose it. You always move the smaller number. So the first one says -3 minus 6. So make a chart. Put a negative sign on the left, positive sign on the right. Make 3 a negative and make 6 on the negative side. So 3 is negative because it has a negative sign in front. 6 is negative for our purposes because subtracting 6 is the same thing as adding a -6. So they're both negative. If they line up on the same side, which they do, 3 and 6 line up, then you add them up. So 3 plus 6 is 9. And it's on the negative side, so your answer is -9. Number 2, -8 minus 5. So you do your chart. 8 is negative. There's a negative in front of it, so it goes on the negative side. 5 is also considered negative for our purposes today, so it goes on the negative side. Those line up, so you add up. Gives you 13, and it is on the negative side, so it's -13. Number 3, 2 minus 9. Make your chart. 2 is positive. There's no sign in front, so that means it's positive. 9 is negative for our purposes. Minus and a negative are the same when you're doing your chart. This time we've got to move it, lose it, because they don't line up. So we have to move it, lose it. You always move the smaller number. Well, which one's smaller, 9 or 2? 2 is. So you move the 2, and that gives you a 7. 9 minus 2 is 7, and it is also negative. Number 4, -9 plus 6. Is 9 positive or negative? It is negative. Is 6 positive or negative? It's positive. Again, we have a move it, lose it situation. So you move the 6 and you subtract. 9 minus 6 is 3, and it's on the negative side. Number 5, 11 minus 7. Now, some people don't need to do a chart for this one, which is fine. They do this one in their head, but 11 is positive, 7 is negative. Move the 7, move it, lose it, which gives you +4. +4. And the last one, 3 minus 15. 3 is positive, 15 is negative. Move the smaller one. Well, 3 is smaller. And you move it, lose it, which means to subtract, which gives you 12. And it is -12. All right, we're also going to go over if you're multiplying. So a positive times a positive is a positive. A negative times a negative is also a positive. But if you have a positive times a negative, then that is a negative. So number 1 is -2 times +6. So the signs are different. So when you multiply, that's going to give you a negative answer. And 2 times 6 is 12. Number 2, -3 times -7. Negative times a negative is a positive, and 3 times 7 is 21. Now, you won't see that plus in front of your answer. I just wanted to make sure you know it was positive. Number 3, positive times a positive. It's going to give you a positive, and 5 times 9 is 45. Number 4, -8 times 4. So a negative times a positive is a negative, and 8 times 4 is 32. Number 5, -6 times -2. Well, a negative times a negative turns into a positive, and 6 times 2 is 12. And the last one, 10 times -2, a positive times a negative. The signs are different, so it's going to be a negative. 10 times 2 is 20.